Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this morning what I am planning to do is get the beans in the crock pot. Last night I put beans on to soak and today I am going to make them for dinner, so that'll be really yummy. I like to make beans in Boston style. That is definitely the favorite, and I'm going to mix hot dogs in with it. I'm not super big with the hot dogs, but my partner is, so we're going to throw those in there. And I will show you what I use to make my beans. First things first, those are the beans I used. I let them soak overnight. That's what you want to do. You want to have about 2 inches above when you fill it. Now it's all seeped in because it's been sitting, but you want them to soak for at least 8 hours. Then over here I got just about everything I'll need: salt and pepper, onion garlic powder, some molasses, and some brown sugar. The first thing I'm going to do is pour my beans right in there with the water they soaked in. I like to use the water they soaked in because that adds a deeper, richer flavor to the beans and also helps the starch to make it nice and thick when we get to it. Let's see, I might need to add a little more water to that as well. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to turn my crock pot on to high. And I'm going to start adding everything from salt, pepper, just a little bit of garlic powder, good amount of onion powder. You could also dice up some onions and throw in there. I just happened to run out, so that's why I'm using the powder. Some molasses, very important for Boston style beans. Other types of making beans uses like honey or maple syrup, which is also very good, but molasses is very traditional. And of course, brown sugar. So I'm not actually using any real measurements. I'm just kind of going based off of a little bit of based off experience, but just kind of throwing it in. I go on the side of cautious opposed to a lot of seasoning, because you can always put more in as it cooks and as you taste it for seeing how you like it. So no need to throw it all in there and regret it. Just as much as you think. Just kind of experiment with it. And easy peasy lemon squeezy. You just put that on, it's on high, and that's gonna just sit all day. So as I sit here, it is a beautiful winter day. It's snowing. It's actually a snow day. I work at a school, and so it's a snow day off from school, and the snow is just coming down and it's beautiful, and it makes me think about winter and what role it plays for the homesteader, the homemaker. I feel like a lot of us, myself included, sometimes even still, during the winter season, all you can think about is that you're not getting anything done or that there is not enough to do. I live up in Maine, and so very much so winter is a off season when it comes to the garden or anything like that. So it can feel kind of discouraging, like you're not making much progress during that time, that it's somehow wasting time during the winter. But I want to reframe that way of thinking, that it is not a waste of time. It is a restful time. Just like the earth itself, it needs time to rest in order to thrive. We can take a lot of lessons from the earth itself, that this should be a time to dream, a time to make plans and be excited, and to take the time to get that extra sleep or get that extra downtime where you're just learning a skill or learning about something new. I've found in my case, really, the only time wasted is the time I spend worrying about how much time I feel like I'm wasting. It's very silly, but I get anxiety about feeling like I'm running out of time, like I don't have enough time to do everything I want to do. But the reality is, I have all the time I need, and the time that I do have, I just need to make the most of. If I spend that time worrying about the time, then I'm kind of doing a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm wasting that in my worries and my anxiety. But if I try to reframe my thoughts, refocus, and realize that the only thing that is a waste of time is when you are in fear, you're stopping yourself from doing something. Every moment is precious, and what we do with it is our choice. And during the winter, it's just such a great opportunity for gaining knowledge, gaining dreams, gaining new outlooks, and resting, which is so important. I feel like every winter I do get better with this. There's definitely moments where I am anxious because I'm like, I'm not doing enough, or I feel like I'm not making progress, or I feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing. But every year I do better, and then when I look back at it, I say, I really did do a lot. I really did. I think it can be a good practice to keep a journal of some kind, writing down what you've done or things you have accomplished, or just to keep track of it for your day-to-day, to keep it organized. But especially when looking back, you really do see how much you have accomplished. When I just kind of think about last year, it can be kind of discouraging because to me it doesn't feel like I made that much progress in a lot of ways. But when I really sit and think about it and I go back and I do see what I really did within that last year, I accomplished so much, and that is really encouraging, and we should try to focus on things that encourage us instead of discourage us. This winter I am getting quite a bit done. I am doing these YouTube videos, and that is exciting. I am doing lots of knitting projects. I got this starting. It's gonna be a poncho. I've already finished hats, mittens, and scarves, and I got a lot more to do. I'm going to do a lot of knitting and crocheting because it's something I really enjoy, and this is the best time to do it. I don't have as much time in the warmer months, so I'm going to get lots of projects done, doing a lot of baking and cooking as always. I actually just started my beekeeping class that I'm taking at my local community center, so that's very exciting. I've already got this book, and so I'm going to learn a lot about that. I have plans to possibly get some snowshoes. I really want to be more outdoorsy in the winter months. I consider myself quite an outdoorsy person. I confuse myself because I'm very much a homebody. I love the home, and so much of my life revolves around what I want to do with my home, having a whole homestead, animals, gardens to take care of. So I'm very much a homebody, but at the same time, I'm quite the adventurer as well. I really enjoy hiking and getting out. I enjoy kayaking, canoeing, all those kinds of things. However, despite living in such a cold place my whole life, I've never really gotten into winter activities. I've gone on some brief short hikes in the winter, but I've never owned a pair of snowshoes. I've never gone skiing or snowboarding or anything like that. Actually last year was the first year I went snowmobiling, and that was really fun. I hope to do it again, but I really haven't gotten into it that much. I think some of it does have to do with financial restraint. A lot of these things do kind of need you to have access to the correct gear, Of course, you can rent gear and stuff like that, but yeah, I've never really had those kinds of opportunities. So every year, I try to do more and more with involving myself outdoors during the winter time, because I really do love the outdoors. That's part of the homesteader in me, and part of the just nature lover in me is being outdoors just brings such happiness to my soul. And if I can get a little bit of that during the cold season as well, that would be fantastic. So I am taking this time to dream and to have goals, and despite any setbacks or anything going on, I'm really trying to stay focused on the positivity more than anything, because circumstances can happen, plans can change, things can not go how you planned, but as long as you stick to the positivity and the core belief around your goals, or the core reasons behind what you want, you're gonna get there. And it can happen in a way you might not expect, but it will happen. I really do believe that. So focusing on the positive mindsets and focusing on just doing what I can in my season of life, which is right now. I was talking about kind of the benefits of journaling earlier, and so here's mine. It is actually one that I had years ago that I never finished up, so I just tore the old pages out and started new. But I have just my inspiration journal is what I call it. And I thought I'd share with you a little bit of what I have done for my personal kind of organizing brain, and maybe you can take something from it. I have goals, different categories of goals. I have career goals, learning creativity goals, home and lifestyle goals, self-care and health, and other. And then I have categories for each season, so things I'm hoping to accomplish with each season of this year. So I'm in winter right now, and I'm going to be adding for spring, summer, and autumn. That works really well for me, doing it seasonally opposed to maybe by the month or something like that, just because I live very much by the seasons. So that is a good way for me to do it. And the last thing I wanted to share is kind of how I have it set up. I have the intention as a category, which is the goal overall. So say my thing I have right at the top is saving for down payment on a home. So if that's my intention, the next box is I have the ideal circumstance for that goal, which would be have all the money you need saved by the end of this year. That'd be the ideal. Then I have really what I want my bare minimum to be with that goal, which for me, I have focusing on that, having a good income coming in, making sure that's the circumstance, and I'd like to have at least a fourth of it saved. That's what I put for the bare minimum. And then I wrote down steps to take to start that intention, to have that be able to begin. So for me, it's diminish bills as much as possible, etc. So that is a very nice way that I kind of keep my goals in order and keep my mind in a place for improving my circumstances and working towards what I want. Try to never let yourself get to a place where you're not sure what you want to do next, or you're not having any kind of a plan at all, because that's what keeps us really stagnant. And when we're stagnant, that can be a big cause of being very sad, feeling depressed even, because we're not sure what we want to do or what we're trying to do, and things can become kind of meaningless to us. So always dreaming and thinking ahead, even if it seems super impossible, just having those dreams in place. Then when we have those, we can work towards, like I said, the steps, maybe the first steps towards something like that. If your ideal dream is, I don't even know, let me use me for an example. Say my dream is to have dairy animals. well, breaking those into steps, it would be I need to first live somewhere that I can have dairy animals. I need to have the finances to buy the dairy animals themselves, buy whatever kind of fencing or whatever kind of shelters to create that. So maybe my steps can be the steps that I could do to save money. Maybe I could take a carpentry class so that I will be equipped to build a shelter or build a fence for these dairy animals, so that that can cut costs, or you know what I mean, just breaking the big dream up into smaller until we have steps that I could go and do right now. I'm sure that I could probably find a mentor or a class or something, whether it be online or in person, of learning some basic carpentry skills. Maybe even it's just learning through watching YouTube with people with dairy animals, anything like that. So thinking like that keeps me motivated because I have steps I can do now at this time in my life that will feel like I am building towards the bigger goal. And it will actually be building towards the bigger goal as well, but it'll fulfill that desire. I hope that conversation could be helpful for you, because I really need to tell myself that constantly. Really, I really do have a bad habit of getting into a place of being like just anxious because I'm not feeling like I'm doing enough. What more can I do right now? And I have to sit back and tell myself, you got this. You have your dreams. You know what you're going for, and you're taking the steps. And if I get to a place where I'm genuinely not taking those steps, that's for me to come back to myself and say, is this scrolling or something like that? Is that really helping me towards that goal, or is that just keeping me in this bad mindset? And so I really have to do that to make sure I keep telling myself. So anyway, I hope it helped you as well. I'm gonna go get some more hot coffee, and I'll see you when we're making bread to go with our beans. And here is the beans and hot dogs all cooked and delicious and ready to go. I am so excited to eat it. I didn't end up making any bread tonight because I had to end up go and do a lot of errands, and so I didn't get back till late, but that is okay. I can make bread another time or tomorrow to go with the leftover beans. I will probably do that, and that'll be delicious. I love homemade bread with butter and to dip in the beans, kind of like beans on toast. I think that's a European or English thing, but that is delicious. I will do that tomorrow. Tonight I'm going to have a nice hot bowl of beans and enjoy the rest of my evening. I hope you enjoyed this little video with me today. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Alright, have a good night.